Waiting. All right, I believe we're live. Oh, we have been live for 17 seconds. That's good. This is the Homemade Broadcast. It is episode 510. My name is Will Kuntz, and welcome back to you on a Hummel.
Hi.
Hey.
Thank you for having me. Yay! I'm glad we're back. It feels good.
It does feel good.
It feels good to just to be back with you. I feel like we have really good chemistry.
Yeah.
And sometimes when I work other places, they like to talk about, baseball cards, maybe racing. There's a lot of racing talk, a lot of sports talk. So sometimes it's hard for me to get in there a little bit. So I like that we kind of talk about, we have a lot in common. So it's nice when you and I get together.
Yeah, I agree. We didn't get together last week. I had a week from hell. I still struggling to, I feel like I'm just complaining, but I guess I am complaining. I'm having a really hard time keeping up with 2 full-time jobs and a podcasting hobby, I guess you could call it now. So but I'm doing my best, and we're back this week, so it's good. It's gonna happen sometimes. You had what did you do?
I had Valentine's Day.
That's right.
I thought that's why we rescheduled.
Oh, yeah. That's right. It did see time just, it's just all over the place. I can't comprehend.
Clearly not, dude. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Are you okay? How are you?
Am I okay? That's a good question. I don't really know how to answer that right now.
Yeah, I got and I know you quite well, so I feel like I can kind of read between the lines. And it sounded like you were bordering an existential crisis a little bit last night. So,
No, and my name's Will Kuntz, by the way. Thank you. No, it's just I'm getting used to I'm just in a new stage of life, and it all kind of happened at once. It's working this new job, the old job, trying to keep up with this stuff, doing the Saturday morning stuff, and just balancing that, moving to a new space, and have it all happen at once. So I'm still just trying to learn how to manage my time, and I feel like the weeknights I just work in the morning. I close that computer down, and then I open my other computer, and I try to get that stuff done as fast as I can and accurately as possible. And so I'm actually doing a good job, and I'm earning those 2 checks. But even with those 2, hustling this multiple job thing, still don't have any money somehow. I don't know how it's happening. I'm not really buying stuff. I guess I am, but I don't know. I don't understand how it's happening, but I have health insurance, but I can't use it because I have to be at work, so I can't go to the doctor or get my teeth cleaned or anything like that. I don't have the time yet, so it's just learning how to balance all of this stuff at once is complicated.
I feel like I've heard Joe Rogan talk about stuff like this, where it's just the kind of the grinding, the day in, day out of just, I don't mean to offend your jobs, but meaningless, fulfillmentless jobs. And I thought that that's kind of where your head was going. I also, and again, this is just my opinion, I'm not a physician, so take it for what it's worth, which is not much, but I feel like also working from home, although very convenient, I get why people like it. I feel like it is horrendous for mental health. Just to sit in your home all day where you live, and then you work, and then you eat, and then you don't leave. And from sundown to sunset, you just find yourself just kind of moving between, 12 to 15 steps the whole day.
Yeah.
I just don't think that's good for people. But again, it's like, I don't have to get dressed. I don't have to go in my car. I don't have to waste gas. I get it. More sleep, whatever. But I just don't think it's good for the mentals. But that doesn't make any sense.
You could be right. Especially where I had a lot of freedom when I just had the one job, because I was so, good at it, and I could just leave. Like, I've been with them for so long that I mean, I've been with them for so long that I took another job at the same time I'm working for them, and they went, okay, well, I guess we'll have to work around that, which is nice. But yeah, it's just you're tied to a desk. You're right. You don't get to leave. You don't get to even walk across the parking lot, get a little bit of sun. It is literally getting up, trying to do a few push-ups, sitting down at the computer, and then you're really tied down to the point where they're like, okay, be back in 30 minutes. And if you're late 1 minute, then you're in trouble. You can get some sort of punishment. And yeah, you're right. It's not the most fulfilling of positions to be in. But I don't know. I mean, this is my life now. So
Yeah, I mean, I felt bad. I didn't really offer a solution. I just kind of stated an obvious problem, but
no, I didn't.
yeah.
I didn't want you to offer a solution. There is
Yeah.
no solution. This is kind of what I've chosen right now.
Yeah. I am grateful though that you have a partner whom you live with. Because if you can just imagine for a second, if you subtract that person from your life and you're just alone all day, and it's like, okay, you have Zoom, but you're really not getting it. I learned recently that you only get a rush of oxytocin through eye contact and like tactile, like touching someone else, like a hug or something. And if you don't have those things, like on a Zoom call, there's really no oxytocin release because most of the time you're just looking at yourself, like on the video camera. So, yeah, those jobs, although you have like some limited social interaction, it just doesn't feel, it's not like like a fulfilling meal or anything. You know what I mean? It's like a few chips versus like a steak or something that you'd get if you were to have like, you're hanging with your buddies, or even if you have like a work environment where you're like like me, my work environment can be stressful at times. It can be difficult to manage at times, but it's like fulfilling in that way. Like I'm with the guys, we're hanging out, we're making jokes, we're laughing, we're pointing, we're giving this finger. You know what I mean? It's interactive, and I think that that's good for my soul.
It is. It is good to have that. And even though even though I have her in the house, we don't even see each other. She's in her room tied to her computer most of the time. I'm in my room with the door closed because I'm on the phone, so I can't be too loud. So I mostly just have the cat. The cat sits here in this basket, and I'll just stare at the cat, and that's something at least.
Yeah.
What did you do for Valentine's Day? Speaking of your partners.
We went out for dinner, but unlike you and your girlfriend, who it seems like you guys like the finer things.
Yeah.
We like to go to places where we can like order the food and then we just like grab the food when it's ready and sit down. We don't drink really ever. I've maybe had a drink with my boyfriend Johnny's wedding.
Wow.
And I think he just took a sip of he doesn't drink, so that really helps with the bill.
Right.
Maybe we've shared a beer like 3 times. We just don't drink. So that really helps with the bill. And I'm a vegetarian, so it's like, how expensive can a salad be? So we just we like it casual. I like wearing joggers out on a date, not a dress.
So did you do like sweet tomatoes? Like what did you do for?
We love sweet tomatoes, but did they all close down? I don't know.
They're coming back.
Oh, are they?
Back, yeah.
Great news. I love their pizza. No, we have a little Lebanese place that we like in, I think it's Citrus Park, maybe. I'll give them a shout out. It's called
what?
I forgot. It's like not what you think a Lebanese place would be. It's like Tasty Bites. Like it's something that doesn't imply that it's Mediterranean food, but it's really good. So you should check out. I think it's called Tasty Bites.
Huh.
Oh, hell yeah.
Sweet Tomatoes could finally reopen this month. Here's what to know.
Dude, I don't know if you didn't have Soup Plantation, right?
I think I had that, but it was in Sweet Tomatoes.
Yes, the same franchise. It's like, because I didn't have Hardee's in California, I have Carl's Jr. I think it's the same thing.
Yes, yeah, okay. It does actually say it right here, also known as Soup Plantation in California. Right there.
Yes. Okay, yeah. We would love that. my dad would often take us there so he could just gorge himself. And then he was always miserable when he left because he couldn't walk because he was so stuffed full of food. So I have a lot of memories. I had many a birthday party at a soup plantation, which is sad.
Yeah, we went there a lot. That was like a piece of Americana, boy. Largo Mall had one of those, and man, when we got sweet tomatoes, it's like, wow, Largo really made it. It's on the come up. It got a sweet tomatoes, bro.
Yeah,
and lasted a long time.
Sorry,
it lasted a long time. Sweet tomatoes, and I didn't know they closed in 2008.
No, I went there like in Florida. There's no way.
Yeah. That's a different place. Steak and Ale. Bankrupt and closed in 2008. They were going to apparently reopen in Minnesota. Nice Steak and Ale.
Yeah, I do have a confession to make regarding. I don't know if you'd call sweet tomatoes a buffet. I guess I kind of would.
Yeah, it is.
It is okay, because it's like the first part of it, you can't really like go back unless you want to look like a degenerate.
I did.
You did? Okay. All right.
Yeah,
I didn't know the rules. It seemed like you go through the salad portion, you're done. And then when you get to like the pizza, the spaghetti, then you could go back a million times. You know what I mean? Because there were less eyes on you, if that makes sense. But I do have a confession to make. I've never been to a Golden Corral, and I just really want to go.
I don't know if it's possible. I do not know if it's possible. I don't think Golden Corrals are open anymore, are they?
I thought that they were among one of the few buffets that survived COVID. I might be wrong.
Largo Mall, they opened one. This is how I gauge everything. They had one near Largo Mall.
Okay.
And they were there for a long time, and I went many times. Oh, no, it's still around.
Right? I know they didn't close all of the locations, but I've never been, and I heard that it is like a cultural experience, and I would like to partake in that.
Well, you're going to have to go to Tampa.
That's fine.
Because there's a few in Tampa. There's actually many over there. There's 3 locations in Tampa.
Okay.
I'll go with you.
Will you? Okay. Yes. And I've kind of perused the menu online. Not a lot of stuff for me, but I just really want to go. I just feel like it's a part of, I don't know if it's just like a Southeast thing. I don't know. I never had it back home in California. So I just want to experience, the insulin insensitivity, it feels like there's not going to be a lot of ankles. There's going to be a lot of, metabolic dysfunction going on there. And I want to see it.
It's funny. The YouTube chat, and what's up everybody over there? We got Joe, we got the Fat Pig is back. Fat Pig says don't go, it's a waste of money and it's horrible. Joe on the other hand says it's incredible and all the food is made from scratch. Fat Pig says no.
You know what? I feel like I got to go with the Fat Pig, but it's like I know it's probably going to be bad, but I want to go. Right, exactly. Yes, but that's still a cultural experience. You know what I mean? And I want to experience it.
I wish that I love Joe position here between Joe and the Fat Pig. That's just, I mean, they couldn't be more apart. Here.
Right. I like the opposing viewpoints. So.
Joe wants to know what the cat's name is. June. It's not my cat.
Aren't there 2 cats?
Yeah, but Barb is the other one. And Barb is June's pet. This is not really our cat. She's just kind of a companion to June. Barb doesn't like anybody. She does, but she's too afraid of anybody to like pet her or anything like that. She doesn't like it.
Okay.
So she's a pet for June.
Okay. Gotcha.
So, yeah. Yeah, you should go to Golden Corral, and I'll definitely go with you.
Okay. Yeah, I want to experience it. It's time. And
you're going to do the whole buffet. I don't really know what you could eat there, though, because it's more like when I think of Golden Corral, I'm thinking like meatloaf and roast
chicken stuff, spaghetti.
Chicken. Yeah, spaghetti. Yeah, exactly. So
I'm not doing any of that, but I want to go. I don't know what to tell you. I know there'll be something vegetarian. I'll figure it out. Mac and cheese. I'll figure it out, man. So
you do have salad. I mean, you can make a salad.
Yeah, I'll just make a salad and maybe have some cornbread. It'll be simple, but I feel like I need to go.
You could, I think you could have like there's a chocolate fountain too that you could like drizzle stuff on. I don't know if maybe that was a
Fondue, like a
yeah, like you know what I'm talking about? Like if
yeah,
you
I do. I do.
yeah, you can just dip whatever you want, fruit. That
Mm.
might have been a casualty of COVID. I'm not sure.
Mm.
I mean, I can't believe that. I mean, buffets is really one of those things that that era took from us.
Do you remember as a kid bobbing for apples? Do you remember when that was a thing? Just kid after kid, and no one didn't matter, you know?
Well, that's before diseases were that's when diseases just kind of happen naturally before they may or may not have allegedly been just, you know, created in a lab that they're so much more deadly and more transmissible.
Mhm.
Yeah, you could do that and you would just be sick for a couple days. And then like as a kid, I was always sick. Oh, it's like bounce houses. Like I remember I went to the fair one time when I was a kid and I was eating like an elephant ear and then I went into this bounce house thing, and then I got sick like immediately. I was just like, getting out of there, I had cinnamon dust all over my hands, and I was just like licking my fingers and like bounce house, touching other kids, just like who but I feel like that was probably the last time I was really sick ever in my life. It just like hit me all like a fair sick
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
just like so many children
Yeah.
90s, you know,
Yeah.
like a ball pit at Chuck E. Cheese or the, you know, whatever, or the bounce house at the fair. I mean, you're really getting a lot of diversity there in illness. And
Yeah.
it really just brought me down really hard. And ever since then, I don't think I've ever gotten really sick ever, aside from the first time I got COVID where I just slept for 14, 15 hours.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you I think this is where we talked about it, but I cannot quite remember. Did you ever get like the worms in your butt?
Oh, yeah, all the time. Yeah. I remember my mom used to have to come in and like peel my butt cheeks apart with a flashlight and flash it in there and make to see if I had worms because I was a thumb sucker. I sucked my thumb for like way too long. And then, you know, I was in the bounce house sucking on my thumb. And then I got freaking West Nile COVID, the original OG, and probably also had worms at the same time. So mom would have to come in there with a flashlight at 9 p.m. and just spread my butt cheeks apart and flash a light in there. And she would see worms and she would yelp audibly. And then I'd have to take a
Okay, I'm
medicine.
glad I definitely had that conversation with someone. I don't remember who. It clearly wasn't you. And they were like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "Dude, I got worms in my butt all
Yeah,
the time."
all the
All the
time. Are you a
time.
thumb sucker?
No, no. Well, no, I wasn't a thumb sucker. But it was something like that kids just used to get. I don't know if it was like in the sandbox or what the hell was going on. But my dad, you'd be sitting in your chair and be like, like trying to scratch your butt, no hands.
Itch.
And my
Yeah.
dad's like, this bitch got worms. And so, of course, much like you said, you have to go and then my dad be like, yep, I see him dancing. I'm like, oh god damn. So then he'd have to check my mom too. And it's like a whole thing.
Well, now I'm curious, how do kids get worms in bum? All right, I'll look at that.
I feel
Sure,
like
the
it's a playground thing, but
eggs can spread indirectly in food dust or other items. The eggs can survive up to 2 weeks outside the body. Once your child swallows the threadworm eggs, they hatch in the small intestine, and the worms travel down to the anus.
and it makes your butthole itchy. And that's
Contain
how you know you got it.
contaminated food, drink, or your fingers. That's how it happens. So thumb sucking is probably one of those things.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. I got worms like a lot as a kid.
Wow.
So I do remember that. I was never really a sick kid though. I mean, I occasionally get sick. Nothing crazy. I never had the flu, never had nothing till COVID came around. And it felt different. I'm like, this is a Chinese bioweapon. I can feel it. I never felt something like that before.
How many times did you get these things? Because I remember having them all the time.
Like I said, like all half dozen times or more. Like it was just a periodic thing. It's like I can remember my dad being like, Ellen, the girls have worms again. And he's like, I'm going to have to check you next. And she's like, oh, God. So,
Yeah, but your butt's never been itchier.
yeah, it's bad. You just kept scratching, and then you get a good scratch, and it would alleviate the irritation for a little bit, and then it would just come back, and you're just like, dude. And my dad would just see me squirming around. And he's like, you got worms. So,
you got worms. You
got
got worms
worms.
on your butt cheeks. I gotta check.
Yeah.
And it was just a pill. You didn't have to put like cream on your butt.
I don't even remember the the treatment. I don't even remember. I don't think it was cream because I don't remember like any of that, but it must have just been a pill.
Huh. Yeah, I remember it being a big point of shame in my life. Like I was like, oh man, I got worms. That's gross.
I feel like I got them until like 11 or 12 even. I feel like I was getting them late. You know what I mean?
How come I don't get them now?
Yeah, that's a great question. I was thinking the same thing.
I hope I'm not jinxing myself.
You're going to get them tomorrow, dude. You get worms from the cat.
I hope not. I'm going
to get worms from Barb.
Barb is a worm. She is a worm, truly. I went to over the weekend. I went to a cover band called Rumors, and they were a Fleetwood Mac cover band. They were playing at the Capitol Theater.
Okay,
and they were good. You know, it was a good performance. They sounded a lot like the band. Now, if you like Fleetwood Mac, you may enjoy it. I was just blown away by the fact that there's this group of individuals who play songs from another successful band that are still having success through the music of other people and what that means exactly. I just found it fascinating that they sold out the Capitol Theater. And that's what I mean. That's where we had the Bone 10 at.
I've been there before. It's not a small theater.
It's definitely not small. I don't know. Actually, I guess look up
maybe how many, like 400 seats, maybe between 400 and 500.
That's what I'm thinking. Capitol Theater, Clearwater, capacity. Just curious. I'm thinking it's like 500. Let's see. 739 seats. So they sold up 739 people in Clearwater, Tampa Bay area in general, bought tickets to see people perform songs that another band wrote. And granted, they did it well, and I enjoyed myself. But I don't know what the legality is there as far as a band playing other songs and like making money. Do they have to pay royalties to the band?
Well, it's not the recorded version of the song. You know, it's like they are singing the song and they're not calling themselves Fleetwood Mac. They're calling themselves Rumors.
Right, which is a very popular album by them.
And I mean, there's plenty of cover bands, so it obviously is legally sound, I suppose. How did you enjoy it?
Yeah, it was good.
You sure?
Good. Yeah.
Sure about that?
It was good. I couldn't get over it, and I kept saying it out loud, and I'm saying it to you now, and maybe it's not as interesting as I think it is, but I just can't believe that people are doing that, and they're making decent money.
Well, I mean, I don't think you're one to do this, but, you know, people buy knockoff Gucci, Prada, and all those other things, Rolexes, because it's, you know, kind of looks like the real thing, and maybe to the naked eye, it's just as enjoyable as the real thing, or to the untrained eye, I mean. But it's not the real thing because the real thing is a lot more expensive. So,
and I guess it's one of those things too where they're just not playing together. Like you're never going to see them. So this is if you are a big fan of Fleetwood Mac, maybe you'd want to check out this cover band because you're not going to have the opportunity to see Fleetwood Mac. So it's you know, some sort of, well, it's Coke to Diet Coke type of thing. And they did sound a lot like them. The ladies, Stevie Nicks. So
yeah, I don't here's the thing, and I feel like I don't know if this is just something I feel more as I get older, but like, do you feel that like the live music scene, like unless you got to be intoxicated, otherwise it just feels awkward, everything about it. You know, like, because if someone just started like belting out a song in the middle of the street, it's like jarring. You'd be like, what? So this is like a very unique experience where it's like we're all watching this one person or this one band, and everyone's like looking at them, and then people are like dancing, and like you don't want to look too out of control, but you want to look like into the music. You don't want to be like a bum, but you don't want to be like, being irate or anything. So I'm always like, I don't know. It's hard for me to just kind of dial it in and focus on what's going on because I'm so focused on the dynamics of everything. Does that make sense at all?
Like when you're at the concert, you're too focused in to enjoy it. There's just too much.
Yeah, I mean, unless I, have been drinking a bit and I don't really care, or maybe I took some other sort of party favors, which I do prefer. Then it's just a lot of like, I don't know. It's hard for me to like really get into it, especially because the concerts that I go to, not that I go to so many, but they're not like seated concerts. It's just like a crowd of people watching a DJ or a guy on a guitar or something like that. It's very interactive. Huh?
Is it fear of like being aware of your surroundings? There's so many people. Because I'm afraid of like I'll get feelings sometimes, and like my gut's usually pretty right. I mean, it hasn't been right about this. But I'm just like waiting to get shot at like at one of these like some sort of mass shooting or something, and that would be a good place for it.
It's an absolutely rational fear. Sadly, it is. But I'm always like, yeah, and I feel like that's it. A lot of it too is there's a lot of people that you can't see that are behind you, that are on your peripheries, that maybe are really far. And all those people usually are on drugs or alcohol. So you kind of have to like look right. It kind of reminds me a little bit of jujitsu when you're in a crowded class. You're trying to do your thing, but in a crowded class, you got to watch out for all the other people I've had people step on my head before, slam into me that are just another couple, doing their thing on the mats. It's kind of the same thing. Like you're trying to have your experience with the music, but you're also like, people are probably intoxicated. I'm not really going to the Capitol Theater when I go to, when I go to concerts. It's usually like a Janus Live where it's just, you're packed in like rats. And I think you're a lot more susceptible to pandemonium in those situations. So,
it's not even. I've had that feeling at concerts where some sort of imminent threat is, happen just right now. The other place I get it is like TJ Maxx. And I don't know why.
Specifically TJ Maxx or places like that?
Well, TJ Maxx, Marshalls, Ross. I'm afraid I'm going to get hit by a stray bullet.
Do you feel like, do I want to go there? Is it the demographics? The clientele? And I don't necessarily mean the tone of their skin. It's more of like the socioeconomic status of people. Are they coming in with, let me just paint this picture, maybe disheveled hair and a short ponytail, an oversized hoodie, pajama pants, socks, and slides? Is that the type of person that is shopping at TJ Maxx?
Well, who shops at TJ Maxx? Just people who don't speak English. Maybe that's part of it because
what are they speaking usually?
It's like from all over the place. I feel like it's a destination from like Eastern Europe that people come to shop to get American goods. Because there's sometimes a lot of Spanish. There's a lot of I was in there a while ago and I felt like I was having a stroke because I'm like, I can't understand. Like I'm hearing sounds. I'm in Tampa Bay, Florida, inside of a TJ Maxx, and I can't hear what I'm hearing, but it's not connecting in my brain.
Say we need to close our borders because I agree with you. Yes, it is time to close the borders. We are being infected with Well, a lot of things. I feel like I might go off the rails here a little bit, but I've been really doing a little bit of a deep dive onto the surge
Okay. Yeah.
of migrants that seem to be coming from, they don't really seem to be refugees. They're wearing Nike and they're wearing clothes that are nicer than mine. And it seems like they're, maybe not that interested in like assimilating or becoming American. And Will, I feel like, I hate to be just your typical bro dude, but I have to bring up Rome. This is kind of how like the empire fell, bro. Got a little too big for its britches, started incorporating people. There was no like solid unified meaning of like what it was to be a Roman. Like they lost their way of like the identity of the Roman was lost because it just incorporated such a vast amount of people and different cultures that were, captured. They turned them into citizens. That was something Rome did that was different than other captures and turning everyone into slaves. But the people that they conquered, some people had to die. But after that, you're like, okay, you're Roman now, So that's cool. But, much like America, what does it mean to be an American anymore? Because I don't know. And I did have a long, a not very DEI friendly conversation today with a close friend about my concern for this country and where it's headed, because I really do feel like this might be the beginning of the end.
Oh, I think we've been in that process for a very long time. Yeah, I don't really even like fear it anymore. I just feel like it's inevitable. And I don't know if you saw this story, but San Francisco,
yes, the non-citizen who's on the elections committee,
who is the head of the elections committee of San Francisco, who cannot vote in elections.
No,
is a Hong Kong citizen, I believe, which is China, and now she is leading the elections. The head of the committee. I don't really know what that job is.
Well, it is like I actually sent that article to like 3 people today, so it's actually brilliant that you brought it up. But I think it's like they're in charge of managing, and I don't know if she's like the head chief. I think she's just on the committee, but it's like managing voter registration, like giving people voter information, like disseminating the information to the public. But she was wanting to do a lot of like encouraging people to vote, especially those who are non-English speakers or non-citizens. And it's like, why though? Why would we want to push people? Why do we want people voting here that aren't citizens? And I'm saying this as an immigrant myself. And I feel like, especially people who came here legally, there's no bigger slap in the face. My aunt, she's not a great person, but whatever. She waited in line for 10 years for a green card from South Africa. 10 years. And she could have just, walked right through the southern border, like the, 7.3 million people that have done so in the last 3 years. So
people, which is more than I saw a meme today than 36 here has more people have crossed the border to the south than there are population in 36 of the American states. That is
not wild.
That is changing demographic, and a lot of people go, "Good, I'm glad it's changing demographics." Okay, I mean, I don't know, I don't necessarily agree or disagree with that, but wow, I mean, that is a major influx in a short period of time, and there doesn't seem to be any sign of it stopping either. I guess it's like
I started. I had a not very DEI friendly conversation with my friend, and I was pretty candid about my possible solutions for the problem, which probably wouldn't be great, but I think they would be highly effective. At this point, you just got to close the southern border. You just got to go, it's closed. We can't. We're done for now. Thank you very much. And then you just make an announcement on the PA in 87 different languages. Hey, listen, if you try to cross the border, we can see you. Like, this is on camera. You see videos all the time of people just like walking through a fence. You just make it known. Hey, if you try to do this, we're gonna shoot you. You know? And then, you got to crack a few eggs to make an omelet. And then guess what? No one's going to come and try to come over anymore because they'll get shot. So I just think that would be a great solution to the problem. It would be very quick. It would be over. And then we need to go in and we need to start deporting people. I think I also agree with Vivek Ramaswamy. He was talking about, these people come over, they have children, those children become citizens. And he has a big problem with just becoming a naturalized citizen. If you're born here and your parents aren't citizens, they're illegals, undocumented. I would not have a problem with those people not becoming citizens, even if they're born on American soil. So,
yeah,
but that would require legislation to change, and we know how Congress is great with that. So,
yeah, they don't seem to be doing much at all. They did the whole, remember years ago where they're just like, we're just gonna storm Area 51. We're gonna
yeah. Was that prior to COVID? I feel like it was.
I think so.
It was like 19, I think. Okay.
And they would go, this guy started a Facebook group. He says, they can't stop all of us. Let's just storm Area 51 and get in there. And I think there was some concern from the government, like, okay, what are we going to do if these people do that? And some people did show up, and then it ended up being like 36 people.
Yeah.
And then they kind of ran, and they stopped well short of the entrance, and they laughed, and they had a good time, and probably drank some beers and smoked some weed.
Yeah.
But some of these NGO heads, for immigration went, that's a good idea. We should just do that. Send pamphlets down to Central America, or get some buses up here and organize and get some people to storm the border. They can't stop all of us. And they did it. And then not only did they not try to stop it, they went, okay, you should go to Texas, and you should go to Arizona, and you should go to, Southern
California. Yeah.
California, not so much. That's pretty solid. That's kind of, you just kind of pass through.
I thought you meant like where people are crossing.
Yeah, well, you're crossing in there, but then you go,
Midwest even. Yeah.
Some, states that may vote a little red, and then we'll just register you to vote or change the laws in the state where you can vote. And then all of a sudden, every state's blue. All of a sudden. It's weird how that works, and that's democracy, baby. So love it or leave it. You're not anti-democracy, are you? So they found a good way to hack it, and we're seeing that at least the foundations being kind of laid down now to make people either legal citizens, number one, or just make it so just illegals can vote, like the lady in Hong Kong that just wants, illegals to vote for some reason, even though they're not citizens and don't have any allegiance to the country whatsoever, they need to participate in the politics. I don't really know why.
Yeah.
I mean, I know why, but to create a one-party state, to create, some sort of dictatorship through democracy, and legitimize it, and just make opposition party just like a weird anti-democracy party that's unelectable, and especially unelectable now. They wouldn't even need to, let's say, do stuff with mail-in ballots or something. They don't need to do that anymore. They could just have this active voting block that will just take care of that for them. I don't really know though, like if I was moving, let's say, to Mexico, I don't really feel any allegiance to Mexico or anything. If I was just living there, I don't know if I would care what the politics were. You know what I mean? However, if somebody's saying, I'm going to go to America, and one guy's saying, I'm going to deport you if you vote for me, and the other one goes, no, we'll just make you a citizen, there might be some incentive there.
Not only a citizen, but you're getting handouts from the government, a place to live, a monthly stipend, a phone, and you want to keep those supplies coming, you are going to be motivated to vote. So,
yeah, it's definitely. New York City's giving them 10 grand, I think. No, you don't need to show ID. That's what I've heard.
Joke, dude.
It's like
We're joke. This is it's embarrassing, you know?
it's not
It's really
sustainable.
embarrassing that
Yeah.
this is happening. But okay, so like play it out like with the Democrats, right? Like say it's the what do they call it? The great replacement theory or whatever. I mean, play that out though, because even if you have a lot of people and like, oh, I hope those people show up at the polls and all this sort of stuff. Like if you're letting in a lot of people who are motivated to bring us down, because that's what happens when you don't have a proper filtering system. And whether it's just like crime, like gang crime, which is bad, which is really bad. Like I don't want MS-13 in my town, no thank you. But then you also have something that's a bit more calculated, and again, I'm just speculating. I don't know anything, but especially when you have people coming from other countries, they know how to hack the system. They much like, and it was funny that it was a woman from Hong Kong, like you said, which is part of China. These people come here, they have children here, those children become citizens, those children or not, and then they start, they get into government and they start making decisions. And where is their allegiance really? Like you see Ilhan Omar, who is, pledging allegiance to motherland Somalia, and that she's really there to serve Somalian interests. Now, it's fortunate for us that she's not very cunning. She's not very smart, so it's very obvious. But with other people, I feel like, you're going to be doing a lot more, say with China, a lot more favorable dealings with China, loosening embargoes, things like that. And that would lead, in my opinion, to the American demise, right? So,
yeah, well, that's they figured out a way to hack democracy, right? I mean, that's what it's all about. Like, she doesn't have to be cunning. She doesn't have to hide it
yeah,
because most of her demographic and voting base there in Minnesota, it's little Somalia there. It's literally a bunch of Somalian refugees that live in Minnesota.
right.
That's who they vote for. I mean, obviously, why wouldn't they vote for a Somalian to get their interest? And so a lot of people go, that's great. That's good. These are also people who think that we live on stolen land and America doesn't need to exist, and et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah, I mean, then I guess that's good if you're dismantling it through
Within,
the
yeah.
system, playing in the rules and finding some way to totally tear apart the country that you live in. But I mean, it's not like it's gonna just tumble, right? I mean, Rome lasted a long time after
It's in decline for like 500 years, yeah, before it just kind of imploded on itself and partially dismantled and partially turned into the Byzantine Empire. But yeah, I mean, I'm kind of grateful that I probably won't have children, so I'm not like worried about the future. And I probably got about, how old am I? 36. I mean, if I'm lucky, like really lucky, I got maybe like 55, 60 years. That's not that long of a time, Hopefully America will be kicking by then, but who knows?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a republic if you can keep it, right? Doesn't look like we're keeping it. But we had a good run.
We had a good run, the American experiment was incredible. We had the greatest military might and country the world had ever seen. And I think, and we still do. We certainly still do right now. But with the rise of China and everybody and their mom seems to have nuclear weapons, and all you need is one. Like, yeah, it helps if you have more because that's more intimidating, I guess. But I mean, all I really need is one to really do some serious damage. So, and someone with a trigger finger. It's frightening, but also like, what are you gonna do? So you just go to Papa John's and you just eat your pizza and you just try to enjoy your life.
That's right.
You just go to Golden Corral and forget it.
Golden Corral, Soup Plantation, Sweet Tomats. You go, you enjoy yourself, and there's still lots of good food. That's the good thing about all these people coming here. Food is good.
Yeah, but everyone like complains about how it's like not authentic. It's like, well, whose fault is that? That's your fault, person from Senegal who can't make it as well here for some reason. People blame us. Oh, it's not authentic. I'm like, you're from there. Maybe you could try a little harder. That'd be nice. Sorry, our materials are too sanitized for your cuisine. Got to make it in a dirty pot in a mud hut or some.
Well, that's the thing. Like even with this food, this good food, quote unquote, guess where they want to go? Golden Corral.
Yes, exactly.
Plantation, sweet tomatoes. That's where everybody wants to go. Don't let them fool you. You're right, Anna. We shouldn't be going to these fancy places. All you need is a little soup, a little salad, and a little bit of pizza all in one place. Maybe this will be the great, we had Christ once that rose from the dead. Now, in post-modernity, we have sweet tomatoes. That is
the rise of the buffet. It's like a rising. It's a resurrection of the buffet.
It is a new age, new era, a new dawn. It's not all bad. Sweet tomatoes back.
Yes.
So have a bite. Anna Hummel, it's a pleasure. Thank you so much. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Glad to be back. I'm going to try to have a video up tomorrow. We'll see. I got to see how many emails I got when I open my second computer tomorrow. I'm going to do my best. And we'll be on with Anna for sure next Wednesday, which we might change times. We might go at 6 p.m. I don't know. Let me know how you feel about 6 p. But we'll see. Great. Anna, thank you so much. See you
Thank you, guys. I'll see you next week.
Good night. Home_made_man, Twitter and Instagram. Thanks everybody for being active in the comments and checking us out today. I appreciate it. Tell a friend about it. And thank you again. All right. I got to go to work. See you next week or tomorrow.